Okay, now I'm going to do the second half of my video. We're going to use Seti Astro Suite. So this version of Seti Astro Suite is actually kind of old. Let me see which one it is. I'm going to open it. And you'll see. So they're on 2.22.1. I don't know what I'm using here. Let me see. It's probably here. 2.20.0. All right, but it's pretty much the same, I'm pretty sure. They added some new features, but it's pretty close to this, I'm sure. So what I'm going to do is stretch the images with statistical stretch, basically. So I used to use Sorel and do hyperbolic stretching, but I find this does basically the same thing with less work. So this is why I do this now. All right, I got to select the image. So I have to stretch 3 images, both starless versions and the star mask, which is here. I was wondering where the star mask was, but it took a while to load. And I find that the default 0.25 is usually way too high. I start at 0.1 about, and then I go from there. All right, so what I'm looking for is that you can see the nebula and that the noise doesn't stand out too much. It's starting to stand out a bit, like here. So again, the middle mouse wheel zooms in and out, or you can just hit this, zoom in and out. It's a little bit much there. So I'm going to probably drop it down to 0.9 and see. Yeah, it's a little bit better. Should be like 0.095 actually. Probably in between those two would be the best. But I'm going to do a curve stretch and fix it a bit. So this is what I'm looking for, right? I'm looking to see, the nebula. I'm looking to not see the noise in the background too much. It's a little bit noisy here. I'm trying to suppress that. If I do something like, let me see, so 0.09 is what I want. If I do like this, it's too much. You can see the noise, and I don't want to see the noise. If I do like 0.05, it's too dark, right? You don't see much of the nebula, right? So I'm trying to get it where I see quite a bit of the nebula, but don't see the noise, right? That balance. So this is what I'm looking for here. Then what I'm going to do is run the HDR. Now the HDR isn't going to work that well here because it's meant for bright areas. Like it tries to separate bright from darker areas, kind of. I'll just show you. It's not going to work that well though because there's not much bright areas here. So this is the default. Yeah, it didn't do much, right? So I'm not going to use it. You'd use it for bright objects though, like the core of M31 is a good case use, or the core of M42 would be a good use of HDR. But here, there isn't many bright parts, so I'm not going to use it. I will use the dark enhancer. That enhances the darker parts of the nebula. So let me zoom out and focus on these parts here. So I'm just going to keep everything in the default and see what happens when I go preview. And made these really dark. It's too dark. It looks artificial. So what I'm going to do is decrease the boost factor quite a bit and run it again. Hit show original, show preview, show original. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, I just made these a little bit darker, but not too bad. Maybe reduce it a little bit more. You want to make them darker, but not like artificially dark is what I'm trying to get point out here. All right, that's pretty good. So you play around with the boost factor. The boost up makes it darker. Boost down makes it less dark. You might want to play with the mask gamma. That's the parts it's actually making darker. If you bring it up, basically it's selecting nothing, and if you bring it down, it's selecting more. But it also selects the background, which you don't want. You just want the nebula selected. So by default, this is pretty good, but you could play around with that too. But anyhow, I'm going to apply it, and that's the first couple steps. Then I'm going to go to the curves utility, and fit to preview. So what I'm going to try to do is darken the background just a bit, not too much, but also raise this, right? So I do it by feel. You can kind of see where you are according to the histogram here. So when I'm over here, it's down here. When I'm over here, it's up here. So I'm going to basically click here, left click, actually double click. For some reason it does that. So you hit zoom to preview again. I'm going to pull this down. So that's making the background darker, which is good. But then I'm going to pull this up. It should be right around here. So double click. You might want to, so if you click on the dot here, you can move it around to see how that works. But basically, I'm going to drag this up. It's looking good, but the dark is a little bit too dark. Maybe like that. Then I might want to pull down the highlights. So the highlights, well, I'm just going to go up here, click, because I know those are the highlights. Sometimes you want to like increase the contrast of the highlights. Sometimes you want to decrease it. Depends on what you're trying to do. I'm actually going to increase it. So it's a little bit of S shape here. The middle one's the most important one. Okay. I try to get the background dark, but not too dark, right? You don't want to get rid of everything. All right, that's pretty good. Remember, this is only 12 minutes, right? So you can't expect miracles here. So because I'm also going to stretch the bluer version, I'm actually going to save this curve because I'm going to use this as a base for the other bluer image. So I'm going to go save curve. All right, I already sort of did it once, right? So I'm going to just overwrite this one because I already processed this picture, so it's already here. So you call it, you call this curve something and you save it. And I'd save. Now I'm going to hit apply. And I'm going to hit go to chroma, which basically increases the saturation. And I'm just going to click the middle, double click the middle, and then just drag it up just a bit. Now it looks crazy, right? But this is another bug in this program. When you hit apply, it's not going to be this saturated. Watch. See? So you just click the middle, pull it up just a little bit, and then hit apply. So this is sort of a nice sort of final version of the red version. Sorry. So then I'm going to hit file save. Oh, this is going to go to Astro. And I'm going to type in rows. And this is the first Starless version. And I'm going to just type in png.png. And that'll save it as a PNG, which is what I'm going to use for the next part. By the way, when you type in search here, and you click the thing and you type .png, it doesn't save. You have to click the directory again. Then you can save it. I always forget about that. Okay, so let me then open up the bluer version. I got to switch this back to K. By the way, I'm only using K and chroma here instead of Astro. Going to go back to statistical stretch, load the bluer version. So that's this one. Got to do the same stretch. I'm going to do 0.09, see how it looks. I actually might stretch this a bit more because, again, I'm just focusing on the middle. I'm only going to use this part for the final image. I'm going to use the one that I just did for the entire image and just layer in a little bit of the middle. So the point is, I want the middle to be bright. I don't really care about anything in the edge because the edge is going to look horrible. But again, I said it a few times, I'm not going to use anything in the edge. The most important thing is I want the middle to be bright for this one. Bright and colorful. That's the thing. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do the dark mask preview. If I'm going to remember approximately what I did for the other one, I think this was down around here. I'm going to try to keep it sort of the same. That's fine. I mean, I don't know exactly where it was. It was around there somewhere. I hit apply, close that. I'm not going to do the HDR again because there's nothing bright here. So I'm going to just skip to the curves utility. I'm going to load in the curves that I used for the red one as a starting point. Again, the middle is what I want to stand out. So I'm going to up the middle a bit here. Not make it too crazy, but up it a bit. The background doesn't matter much because I'm going to start here, you know, the portion of the image that I use. So I'm going to focus on the middle. Something that's pretty good. You're going to do the chroma thing. So you can see when I increase the chroma, there's some blues here, some greens here. That's what I want. I might even boost this a little bit more. Hit apply. And it's, you know, the saturation is going to go down after you hit apply. So I'm going to save this as the bluer version of this. And again, I got to hit this so it saves. PNG again. All right. So that's saved. And then I'm going to do a star stretch. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to load my star mask from Cyril. It's going to be Rose. And this is the star mask. Yeah, so you have to fool around with this. I find like between 4 and 5 works good. I'd say start around like 4.5 and see what that looks like. I'm also going to boost the colors a bit. I mean, you say how high. I don't know. I usually go to like 1.2, somewhere around there. And I remove basically any green stars, right? And hit apply. Let me zoom in. Yeah, so these stars are a bit stretched too much. So I'm going to undo that and reduce it a bit. Yeah, so there will be some stars which are stretched a bit too much, but we can get rid of that later. That's pretty good. I mean, these are a little bit too much. But if you go to Halo Be Gone, which is over here, after you stretch, you can get rid of some of these halos. So let me zoom in a bit. Like if you focus on this, if you hit this, so I keep it extra low and you hit it a few times. See, you know, a lot of these stars are under control. That's pretty much what I want. And then I go to curves. So let me go to curves. And what I do here is a little bit weird because I just got rid of those halos. But what I do is I usually go to K and boost the middle a bit so some of the dimmer stars show up a little bit more, and then I decrease the highlights a bit. So if you zoom in, by the way, right click gets rid of these handles. So you can see when I do the middle and zoom it up, now I'm making these halos again. But if you bring down the highlights, it keeps it, under control a bit more. So what this does is just bring out the dimmer stars just a little bit more. So you see a little bit more stars. And then I also increased the chroma a bit, just like I did for the starless, just a bit. Just so the stars are a bit more colorful. And then I say this one too, just like I did the other ones. So I hit rose, then star mask, and I check my PNG. Oops. I don't know what happened there. So PNG. Sorry. And then I hit Astro and then save it so I could save. And then I'm done with Seti Astro tools. Let's save that. All right, I'm actually going to turn this into 3 videos. So that's part 2.